Hey guys, it's been a while. Before the video starts, I figured this would be the best time to thank some comments on my videos and correct any issues people found in my stuff. Nothing major, just little oversights on my part when it came to talking about some games. In my Ninja Turtles video, user Papa Drapopoulos pointed out that Platinum didn't come up with the character designs on their own, but based them off of artist Mateus Santaluoco's designs from the IDW line of Turtle comics. Thanks for pointing that out. It definitely makes a lot of sense considering how the other Activision licensed titles would have already had reference art for their respective IPs. In my Outcast video, user Ulukar pointed out that you can drop dynamite in the well and detonate it, but only in 1.1 and not in the remake. Good to know if someone's running through Talonzar before getting enough funds to buy the grenade launcher. Ulukar also said that the Ugabar are hostile towards Talon, but because Cutter isn't part of the planet, the Ugabar aren't initially hostile. Huh. I'm sorry, I just wanted to post that video again. Thanks for the comments and keep them coming.
Jody, how's my schedule look for today?
You've got a conference and dinner party at the Japanese embassy regarding wildlife protection.
Oh yeah. Sorry, but I'll have to cancel that. I'm heading out to save America. Can you let them know I won't be able to make it?
Yes, Mr. President.
History lesson. It's 2004. You can't change a channel without seeing someone making fun of the president. From Software released a game on the Xbox in Japan featuring a parody of American culture at the time. The game never made it overseas because the developers were worried about offending Americans over their portrayal in the game. It's 2019. You can't change a channel without seeing someone making fun of the president. The mad lads at Devolver somehow convinced From Software to make an HD remaster of their forgotten classic, Metal Wolf Chaos. Metal Wolf Chaos is the most American game ever made, and it's not even made by Americans. It's a B game with a B movie plot, and it has absolutely no chill.
Get out my special ops suit, Jody.
It looks like a fancy party is about to start. This kind of party is a first for me. Mr. President?
Okay, let's party! Welcome to the White House.
It was made by this little-known company, From Software, who are mostly known for their series of mech simulation games, Armored Core. When Devolver announced that they were going to give Metal Wolf Chaos an HD remaster and free the game from original Xbox Purgatory, I was absolutely floored. We finally have a game to play every 4th of July, besides Metal Gear Rising.
I have a dream! What?
Metal Wolf Chaos XD stars the President of this great United States, Michael Wilson. He becomes a fugitive on the run after his Vice President, Richard Hawk, stages a coup d'etat and seizes control of the government. Michael takes an experimental mech, codenamed Metal Wolf, and escapes from Washington, D.C. on Air Force One alongside his trusty secretary, Jody. Michael plans to retake America one city at a time, starting from California and moving all the way east to D.C. The game's premise is pretty simple, and 2 levels in, you'll more or less get the loop down. You'll select a mission, prep Metal Wolf with up to 8 weapons, and go ham. Once you're in a level, you follow the objectives. Bad guys attack, you blow them up. Bad guys come back with a bigger gun, you blow that up. Then mission complete. Controls are pretty simple for a mech game. It plays like a standard third-person shooter, with character and camera movement. Metal Wolf can jump a fair bit up, but there is no double jump. The boost system is interesting because you have a boost meter, not unlike Vanquish. Boosting allows Metal Wolf to accelerate for a bit before the meter runs out. However, once the boost meter is expended, you can still maintain that boost, but you'll burn through Metal Wolf's shield meter. Eventually, you'll eat up a shield unit if you don't let up on the boost. Each trigger on the controller corresponds with the guns on either side of Metal Wolf. If you press B or circle, Metal Wolf's gun racks open up, and you can switch weapons by pulling on the corresponding triggers. This is where you can mix up Metal Wolf's arsenal, but because I'm a creature obsessed with symmetry, I try to give Metal Wolf matching weapons for each slot. One of the core mechanics is rescuing hostages. They're trapped in holding cells, and you can only free them with small arms fire. Some cells are rigged with timed explosives that trigger when you get too close to them, and explode if you don't free the hostages in time. Every hostage you rescue could be either a scientist who can help you with your technology rating, or a musician who has a chance to reward you with background music to play when you take on a mission. The game gets really sneaky in later levels, and puts the holding cells in dangerous areas that require some careful aiming. Your health is similar to Metroid, with a shield meter that absorbs the damage you take. If a shield meter gets used up, you lose a shield unit, and that goes on until you run out of shield and fail the mission. Some shipping containers or holding cells contain an energy pod that you can collect to upgrade Metal Wolf's stats. Every 5 pods upgrades the amount of shield units for Metal Wolf. Something I like about the game is that when you return to past missions to grind, it keeps track of the hostages you rescued and the energy pods you picked up. Those don't respawn when you replay a mission, so you know for sure whether the hostages and pods you picked up on repeat runs were the ones you had previously missed. When you complete missions, you can invest the funds you collected from the field to open up development paths for each class of weapon, and then manufacture the weapons you want to use in your arsenal. Development costs funds, and manufacturing costs resources, so plan ahead before you burn through your war chest. Pro tip: invest heavily in bazookas and machine guns, because they're both very reliable when it comes to damage output, and unlike missile launchers, bazookas can be free-aimed. Metal Wolf Chaos scratches the same itch as an arena-style crowd fighter, like a Musou game or Earth Defense Force, but I like the things Metal Wolf does compared to those titles. First, every level is unique. That doesn't sound like much of an accomplishment, but if you play enough of these titles, the levels can get monotonous even if the backgrounds and enemies get mixed up. If you compare Metal Wolf Chaos to a contemporary game, like Dynasty Warriors 4, Metal Wolf has less missions overall, but every stage has unique layouts and mission objectives. Those objectives could be something basic like destroying all the enemy outposts in the city, or they could be time-sensitive affairs, like destroying the large cannon affixed to the top of Alcatraz Island so that it doesn't destroy San Francisco. By the way, while that sounds ridiculous but fitting for the tone of the game, it's not too far off base because when I visited Alcatraz Island, I learned that nearby islands housed missile silos that were operational during the Cold War. Most boss-centric levels require you to destroy the surrounding enemy structures in order to weaken the defensive or offensive capabilities of the boss before the fight gets serious. Every city has its own personality. San Francisco has railway cars, Miami takes place on the beach, Chicago has a train you can ride on to travel faster through the level, and Phoenix takes place in an old West-style town.
This is like starring in John Ford's My Darling Clementine. Wanna find out who gets to play Wyatt Earp?
If you've played any of the older Dynasty Warrior games, you tend to revisit levels that get used for other battles. And even if there are missions that have different layouts, the general feel for each level tends to get samey because of the relative flatness of the areas and lack of overall detail. Comparing Metal Wolf Chaos to Earth Defense Force, I like how there isn't much of a need to grind in Metal Wolf as opposed to EDF. There were moments where I grinded because I wanted endgame tier weapons for the final fights, but I only ever needed to do a couple of runs in order to have enough funds to kit out Metal Wolf. What really makes Metal Wolf Chaos shine is the tone of the game. It's big, it's dumb, and it's totally self-aware, but not in a way that would make you roll your eyes and groan at the characters winking and nodding at the camera.
It's over, Richard.
Like hell it is.
That's the space shuttle. You can't chase after that. Hey, Mr. President! Mr. President! Mr. President!
Ah!
That's pointless, Mr. President.
Nothing is pointless. And the reason is because I'm the president of the great United States of America. Yeah!
Mr. President!
Jody, I'm gonna step out into outer space. See you soon.
It's got the kind of sarcastic tone you'd expect from a Paul Verhoeven film, and you feel it the most during the propaganda videos that play out at the end of missions that spin your heroic actions into acts of terrorism.
To my beloved fellow Americans, good evening. This is an announcement from the Government Policy Promotion Department, your American justice and freedom supporter. First of all, what I would like to tell each and every one of you is this. Recent events were not a mere coup d'etat, but rather a revolution to correct the wrongs in the United States of America. To our regret, our nation is in a crisis situation. Since 2010, domestic terrorism problems have increased rapidly. Economic disputes originating from the exhaustion of fossil fuels and the sudden rise in unemployment due to the influx of large-scale immigration. Neither the current president nor the American government took actions to address these various problems. On the contrary, they have filled their own pockets adhering to terrorist cells. To correct this situation, Richard Hawk, Arizona insurrection hero and vice president of the old government, and the U.S. military rose to the task at hand. Much like our ancestors did, based in a belief of winning freedom, and based in the belief of an independent war, and based in the belief in this great nation. However, to our regret, an evil to disobey this belief exists in the United States of America too. And here is that evil. This villainous terrorist who first appeared in Washington and began his unjust rampage goes by the alias Metal Wolf. His current whereabouts are unknown. While all of America will be under martial law until Metal Wolf is caught, please do not confuse the issues at hand. Without fail, the U.S. military elite forces, with a combined strength of 1.5 million, promise to smash this unforgivable evil to pieces. This has been an announcement from the Government Policy Promotion Department, your special remedy for all kinds of evil.
These newsreels had the same energy as that one Apogee Award scene in Iron Man. The Bush-era humor permeates throughout the game, and some of the lines really caught me off guard.
Mr. President, the Alcatraz cannon just started to recharge.
I'm on the move. I'll smash it faster than a Florida recount.
Pitting Michael against Richard was an obvious jab at all the jokes about how Dick Cheney was really running the Bush administration.
My fellow Americans, good morning. As Americans, we love freedom. But true freedom isn't a given like the air we breathe or the water we drink. About 240 years ago, our forefathers fought greatly, giving their blood, sweat, and tears. And in the end, they won our freedom. And we must never forget this. If anything appears that threatens our belief in this freedom, we will oppose it. We will crush it. In fighting to gain our freedom, we need no reasons. We require no just cause or flowery words. In order to protect our neighbors who love freedom and this faith in freedom, we continue to believe in our own justice. We won't abandon any battles. And the reason is because we are all citizens of the United States of America. And as long as you all will allow it, I will be a vanguard leading this fight. And the reason is because I'm the President of this great United States of America.
This is the ending speech of the game. That crowd of copy-pasted soldier models are meant to represent American citizens. Michael's speech about American values is about as hollow as Armstrong's in MGR.
I have a dream. What?
It's such a spot-on parody of American exceptionalism, and it was done by a Japanese studio back in 2004. This game is such a product of its time, and I'm so glad Devolver and General Arcade, the company in charge of porting the game, kept the HD remaster as close to the original game as possible. There were interviews as the game was nearing release asking FromSoft if they would consider rewriting the plot of the game to suit modern topics, but thank God everyone had the good sense to not go in that direction. There is no possible way to take these Bush-era jokes and contort them into haha Orange Man bad memes. The length of time between what happened back in 2004 and seeing the jokes now really make this game. It's a snapshot of a time that encapsulates the sentiments and emotions surrounding the Bush administration, but it's done by non-Americans, and that's what makes it fascinating.
We've been made public enemy number one. How about seeking exile or asking for help from other nations?
No, I'm the president. I can't be the one to start a war in this country. I'll be the one to wage the war.
Mr. President.
Hey, Jody, update me on the situation in the West.
This line is especially funny to me after learning about the American government's war powers, because it's actually correct about how the president can't declare war, since that's delegated to Congress in the Constitution, but he can in fact wage war once it's declared. Remastering an old game is a double-edged sword. While you get to experience the game as close to how it would have originally been at the time of release, you also get to experience that game's design limitations. Because the game was built for the original Xbox, there's no use for the black or white buttons, which have morphed into the shoulder buttons for the 360 and Xbone. This means that the bumpers don't have any inputs mapped, and there's no control scheme that gives them any inputs. If I were to tweak the game's code, the bumpers could probably be used as manual reloads, so that you have some control over small arms, or maybe serve as secondary inputs for jump and boost, so that I don't have to take my thumbs off the sticks to perform those actions. Pressing triangle or Y will perform a stomp attack that can only occur when you're in mid-air. It's useful to save from boosting through structures or wasting ammo on trucks, but I'd like to have a ground melee attack as well. You can boost into enemies to cause damage, but it's not very useful for large units or infantry carrying riot shields. The other major issue I have with Metal Wolf Chaos is that there's a lack of feedback from damage to Metal Wolf. If you burn through a shield unit, you'll hear an electric crackle soundbite, but Metal Wolf doesn't really stagger from the shock, and there's no screen shake. You're just stuck in place from the hit stun, which can be pretty bad in some fights because you'll be hit with missile barrages that stack the damage, and if you're not paying attention, one bad hit can eat through most of your health. Damage feedback also isn't very helpful when you're stacking explosive attacks from both guns. I was using grenade launchers at structures, and I could never tell if firing both rounds at once negated their damage versus staggering my shots. It's one of the things that makes the game feel like a budget title, like something from the PS2 Simple series. That and the wooden animations and the character models in the codec calls. Besides that, I'm really glad Metal Wolf Chaos XD finally made it to America. It's exactly what you'd expect from a game featuring the president piloting a bipedal war machine. A straightforward mech arena shooter with some goofy writing and fantastic performances.
Richard, you can run, but you can't hide. You coward!
Coward! Michael! You gonna complain? He's a coward. I can't win. So shoot me, Michael. Or are you a chicken?
If you're looking for a game where you want to go all out and blow up a billion things at once on screen, or if you want to see some top-notch voice acting,
Richard!
What do you stand for, Michael? Be certain now. As certain as blood gushing out of your nose when I bash it in. Be certain of your death here and now. Now, come at me with all your body and soul. I'll hug you to death.
please play Metal Wolf Chaos XD. Also,
Believe in your own justice.